In an article published on February 19, 2020 by NORC at the University of Chicago's nonpartisan research institution called the AmeriSpeak Spotlight on Health Survey, the article states some mind-blowing statistics which are staggering to comprehend, that all point to the necessity of my system in better advocating for yourself and your family. Now, according to this survey, they found that an estimated 8 million Americans had started a campaign for themselves or someone in their own household in order to pay their own medical bills. A quote from the article states as follows, quotes, "As annual out-of-pocket costs continue to rise, more Americans are struggling to pay their medical bills, and millions are turning to social networks and crowdfunding sites to fund medical treatments and pay their medical bills," states this woman named Molly Hertel, senior research scientist at NORC at the University of Chicago. 8 million people. Perhaps you know someone in this situation right now where this process that I've been describing would help you or help them. She continues in the article by stating that, quotes, "Although about a quarter of Americans report having sponsored or donated to a campaign to help someone pay their medical bills, this share is likely to increase in the face of rising health care premiums and out-of-pocket costs." The article states that although more people have gained medical coverage and medical insurance coverage through the Affordable Care Act, crowdfunding for health care expenses has become more and more common because many Americans still cannot afford their own out-of-pocket costs, such as their deductibles, their co-pays, their co-insurance, which rise, as you know, every single year. Couple this with shrinking networks as defined as in-network versus out-of-network, and it's easy to understand that medical bills remain the #1 reason Americans file for personal bankruptcy, according to a 2019 City University of New York and Harvard University study. Now, if there was ever a David versus Goliath situation where this process was needed and necessary, it is in these types of situations whereby your health insurance provider or your hospital network where you may have been treated are very large. They're very powerful institutions, and sometimes they can be very deceptive, and they know how to play hardball in order to get their money. And using intimidation and various other tactics are not, unfortunately, beyond their purview. Therefore, unless you have money to burn, which most of us don't, and years to wait to resolve your matter through the legal process and our court system, I would urge you to learn about this process because it could help increase the probability of garnering the resolution or the economic justice in your matter faster for less money than it could cost to get a lawyer involved. Now, depending upon the complexity of your matter, if you are trying this process first and it does not produce the results that you need, you could always engage a lawyer and use the legal process at any time. It will just likely cost a lot more money and cost more time to pursue the justice you're after. This is a fact almost no one will argue with, except the lawyers, of course. To bring this point home, this very issue of Time magazine, dated March of 2013, called "Bitter Pill: Why Medical Bills Are Killing Us," is focused on this very topic of how the healthcare system is using outrageous pricing, egregious profits, and various tactics regarding how they bill and how they collect payment. I suggest that you Google and read this article because it will open your eyes to what you may be up against, which will help you on your way to using this process more effectively. Another article that I would have you Google and review is this. It's called Tricks of the Trade: How the Insurance Companies Deny, Delay, Confuse, and Refuse, by the American Association of Justice, which used to be called the American Trial Lawyers. You won't believe what you will read in terms of the number of names of brand name insurance companies that are cited in this very article. It will make you aware of these kinds of behaviors, which unfortunately the large insurance companies and the hospital networks use quite routinely in their efforts to collect their money. As a reminder, before I share with you about how you might want to use this process in matters such as this, let's recall again from the very first quote in the book, The Power to Get Justice. People and organizations are both funny and disturbing. In many instances nowadays, they will often avoid, ignore, or they won't move or pay attention until they believe they have to move or pay attention, even when they know they should. Garnering resolution and justice requires action, honesty, confidence, unshakable steadfastness, and proof that you have been wronged in some manner, or that you could be if X, Y, and Z doesn't happen. But even when these things are in tow, in order to garner resolution and the justice you seek, it often seems to require a significant consequence of some sort, whether real or perceived by the other side, before the individual or the organization that you seek justice from internalizes and weighs the potential consequences of not responding to you before they will move or act on this or that. The level of the consequence is what drives the urgency that is assigned to your matter. This common thread seems to apply almost universally to all personal and professional environments throughout the world. To ignore this basic truth is simply unwise. Think about this. No potential significant consequence present, no urgency assigned, no resolution achieved, therefore, no justice garnered. In using the process on a large entity like a hospital or a health insurance company or a life insurance company, please understand, these organizations are very well financed, very well lawyered, and well versed at justifying how they arrived at the amount of your invoice, whether it's accurate or not. However, they are not expecting that you have the knowledge, the fortitude, or the conviction to stand up and push back in areas where they may have made a mistake, or they may have overcharged you for certain services, or they may have mistakenly double billed you for certain things. Or there could be situations where you have already forwarded them all the necessary documentation around your particular claim so that it could be processed, although they're claiming that they don't have those documents, using common delays, etc., etc. Even in matters where they may have overcharged for services or made mistakes regarding billing for various procedures, they are not used to having the customer, meaning you, dispute certain points in a forceful and a very ethical manner that clearly communicates that you know what you're doing, that you won't be bullied, which unfortunately, according to this Time magazine issue, many hospitals and healthcare insurance companies are very proficient at. Let's set up a common scenario to discuss how you could apply this process to improve your chances of garnering resolution and economic justice. I'm going to describe a situation right now that is a hypothetical. Let's say you purchased many years ago a long-term care insurance policy with the hope that you never had to use it. But unfortunately, an event happened where your spouse tragically dies. You then suffer severe anxiety, doubt, depression, and you're diagnosed with PTSD. What makes it worse is you can't perform your job. So your income is hurt, but thank goodness you bought a disability policy many, many years ago to help in the event that this would help you supplement your income, God forbid if you ever had to engage it. So let's say this all happened. You were diagnosed with PTSD by your medical doctors, and you submitted a claim to your huge insurance company requesting that your disability benefit be engaged. The insurance company denies it, pushes back. For some reason, they don't like your doctor's PTSD claim, and they want you examined by their doctors, a common practice with insurance companies. Why? It's a way to hold on to the money longer at the end of the day. So let's say you use this circle of leverage process instead of hiring a lawyer. Many people will be so fit to be tied that they'll just engage a lawyer and sick the lawyer on the insurance company for a retainer. If you were to use this system, probably the insurance company has you dealing with a very, very low-level person in their claims department who is your main point of contact, who is telling you for whatever reason, unfortunately, you're denied, or that they don't have this or they don't have that, et cetera, et cetera. So what you could do in using the circle of leverage is you could find out from that company's website who this person reports to, likely who that person reports to, and likely find out the upper chain of command in that Fortune 500 insurance company. Then you could find out or guess, based on the research you do, which is mostly free, who their sideways leverage points are. And again, this might look like a lot of work, but it's really not, and often it's free to get this information. So if you were to write a letter to the claims person, the director of claims, the vice president of claims, the senior vice president of claims, who probably rolls up to the president, and executives on this side, what you're doing is you're creating a circle of leverage around the two primary people that are telling you that your claim is being denied. What you're doing is you're broadcasting your matter, your situation, your beef, whatever you want to call it, to the upper echelon of the organization and over here, and you are creating the potential of a consequence if these people continue to reject your claim. This is a common procedure. If the claim does not get processed in START, you could elevate this further with this kind of concept, because who would be nervous as a disability insurance company if additional eyes are on this process, meaning there's the state regulations department, the state of insurance, there's the Secretary of State, there's the governor, and there's also the media, the ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox News television affiliates in the city where this insurance company is based. So what if you put in your letter that if this matter is not resolved to my satisfaction within the next 30 days, I will be forced to consider involving the media in this market by sending letters to the top 6 executives of ABC, CBS, NBC, and Fox News affiliate, and the 2 primary papers in the city where this insurance company is headquartered. Rest assured, that type of letter is going to get action. And I can share with you that this kind of thing, I'm aware of a person who's using this process right now, and it is helping this individual get justice. She has yet to retain a lawyer, but this is causing severe eyes from all over the organization onto her simple little matter with the hope that it gets resolved. So this is just an example of how ethical, direct, and honest this process can be, and why, as a simple business person who's been self-employed all his life, the 99%ers, the majority of us, don't have $5, $10, $15, $50, or $100,000 laying around so that we can hire a lawyer to do battle on our behalf. And most of us will go through 2 to 3 or 4 situations every year that require focused attention so that we get a situation resolved. This one is a big deal in this individual's life right now. So this is a hypothetical that could be going on with a boatload of people in our country. This is a way that she is using my process to help her get resolution and justice. And hopefully that will be achieved in short order. Thank you for listening. I hope this was helpful. Everything that I've just talked about you can find in more detail on our website by going to www.powertogetjustice.com, where you can find out this information and much more. And you can also order a copy of the book, The Power to Get Justice.